You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Okay, so let me explain what they actually really did do. My daughter got on Canva. It's an online developer tool, and it's this multimedia thing with video, audio, and graphics and everything. And she's been learning about it in school.
Wow.
So she got her own Canva profile, and they created this incredible montage of photos and a music video, but they couldn't get the audio to play, so they sang the song to go along with the Canva video, which is great. I thought this is delightful. It was didn't cost them any money. They created this. It was from the heart. It was wonderful. And then about a week later, I got a bill from Canva. My daughter signed up for a $140 annual subscription to this thing. And I said, Nikki, I hate to break it to you, but I didn't know you were going to subscribe to this. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but kid, it's not worth $140. What's going on over here?
Nuts.
That's funny. Well, welcome back. I know you were sick just like everyone else, man. Everyone got sick around the holidays, huh? That's one thing everyone got for Christmas. COVID or RSV.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It is coming at you.
So we're double dipping this month, and we got obviously plenty of questions to field here today. And I'm going to give this guy, Corey, props. Look at this. This is easily the longest questions we've ever had submitted. It would take this entire hour for me to read this.
What's the question?
It's the one about the animals loose out east. You're not going to make me read this whole thing, are you?
I don't know, Ross. Right. I mean, let's talk about that question. I may.
Well, we'll dig in that one here.
I may need you to do that
last. But a guy who has neighbors out east there that have tons of animals, and they just kind of run free. It's like a messed up Noah's Ark out there. A little bit.
I like that.
So we'll get to that one here in a few minutes. Other questions involve mattresses. Someone got the wrong mattress. Now they can't give it back for the right mattress. What can they do? And then this is interesting, too. I have epilepsy. Can I get a disability if it prevents me from getting a job? First, though, I wanted to throw this one out there since we're getting ready for the Day of Love on the 14th.
Yeah.
And we got this great giveaway from Louisa Graff and Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, a bunch of stuff, candies and flowers. Oh, my. But there's a story today saying the Sweethearts, the candy place.
Oh, yeah.
The hearts that have the words on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They say that this year the Marry Me hearts are legally binding. Is that even at all possible?
Sweethearts is saying that if you give somebody a Marry Me
I
heart,
was to give you a Marry Me heart, and you accepted, we would be legally wed.
Where's the Divorce Me heart that then legally unwinds that marriage?
Does that come next year?
Yeah.
Is that does this gonna be the next thing? You're going to buy a box of divorced hearts?
Well, you know what? We're actually common law married. Really, in what's the evidence for that? Well, I mean, she gave me a Marry Me sweetheart, so it's it. No, that's not a binding marriage contract. However, I like that they're doing that.
Smart, but not smart. See, I knew right away. I was like, I bet he's going to debunk this in about 30 seconds. And that's about what it took you.
You know what? I'd love it for them to come out and say they got hacked because, what an analog hack. All of a sudden the Sweethearts are coming out and it's inappropriate stuff.
So, Marry Me not legally binding. You can lock that one in officially. All right, well, tell you what. Which ones do you want to start? What time is it here? 9:12. Tell you what, let's get figured out off the air which one we're going to start with. Because like I said, we have disabilities. We got mold issues that could lead to later health problems. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Corey's 875-word rant.
You noticed there is a theme. Not a theme, a pattern to a lot of people's concerns out there. And I know what I mean by this is, we've been doing this for years now, Ross. And a lot of the questions that we get have to do with issues with a landlord not delivering what the tenant believes they should deliver. Dangerous issues at their residence. We have issues with
water
nuisance.
And heat.
Well, water and heat. Yeah, going back to that. Yeah, absolutely. Water, heat, mold, uninhabitable types of conditions, perhaps. We've got issues with trespass, whether it's noise, it's light, it's animals. We've got issues with property. How do I get this back? or I bought something and it's defective. I mean, what I love about this is we are tackling the issues of just everyday people. And whether you're a consumer, whether you're a renter, whether you're a homeowner, these are things that impact so many different people. And I think we've all I think maybe we'll get into some things too that I know I've had experience with. Maybe you've had experience with them too. But I mean, most people will say, yeah, you know what, I can relate to that. So let's, I'm interested to get into this issue with Noah's Ark out there. Or is it in Rama? Where is this? Is it?
I want to say it's Peyton.
It's in Peyton. All right.
So all right, we'll tell you what. We'll get to that one because it's a lengthy one. I'll do the Cliff Notes, the question, and then what he wants to do, and see if that's the right step.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Corey, what's up, buddy? You there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Hey, cool, man. Well, hey, you are live on the radio, so watch your filthy mouth. Otherwise, Dave McDivitt will sue you.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we do. We sue people for dirty mouths.
So congratulations, first of all, Corey. You are the winner of the longest question ever asked to the Law Frog. Yeah!
Not sure that's good, but I'll take it.
It was a lot.
Anytime I'm a winner is good.
So we were looking for an intern to do Cliff Notes. The intern started to do this, and then the intern's head exploded, and they died. So we figured it'd be best to call you and kind of get the quick version of this. I know you have neighbors' animals running loose on your property. They're crapping everywhere. They're tearing up your stuff, and you want to know what to do. Is that the gist of it?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, we've talked about building fences and stuff in the past, but they've kind of fallen through on their word.
So like a collective thing, like you and the neighbors getting together and split the bill or whatever, or who are you talking about when you say we?
Well, that's what I understand kind of through the law. Like, yeah, the neighbor and I have talked, and it's a really strange situation because it's the same neighbor on both sides of me.
So you're like...
Okay, so you're kind of sandwiched in.
Wow. So you're like a little enclave.
They bought the property, yeah.
Yeah, you're like that one. I think apparently rumor is there's one person who owns a little spot of land in the middle of like the Broadmoor golf course, and they can't like do something because some person owns some random. Now listen, this is a rumor, but I mean things like that. You're like, whoa.
It's like I own a little bit, but I can't get to it because I don't.
Get to it. It's on the back nine.
That's weird in the first place. All right, so you're surrounded by this guy, and you've had conversation. You guys friendly? Would you say neighbor-wise?
It seemed that way, but things have really gone downhill.
All right. Go ahead. How's that? What do you mean by that?
Because, we used to talk pretty often, and he would come over and talk, and we had discussed things, but then he's not following through with the things that we had discussed, like where the property line was, the removal of cactuses on the property line, situations like that. And then from what I've heard of other neighbors, it's even way worse what he does to them, so...
Well, okay, have you done a survey? Do you even know your actual property boundaries?
Well, actually, that was part of his question. You want to know if that's the step, if you wind up doing a survey and getting the lot tracked and starting to build these fences, and part of the question was, then can he get to the neighbor and say, hey, you owe me this much?
It depends on the kind of land we're talking about here, because we have, there's certain land is designated in a way like for grazing agriculture, and we've got some fencing provisions in Colorado law that would allow you to recoup half the cost of building the fence under certain circumstances. And so, it sounds like in this situation, maybe one way to do it would be to, identify how is your property designated, first of all? What are the boundary lines? Because you certainly do not want to build a fence on along disputed property lines and run a risk of then him being able to say, well, look, it's an improper fence and we got to take some of it down, or you're encroaching on my property, and then he's got to claim for something. But, I think identify the property boundaries.
And maybe that'll jumpstart him or getting geared to set up things. Have you checked out what it costs to do that survey, Corey? You know what it's going to take out of your pocket?
I had been quoted $2,500, and part of this is that he had started building a fence that I do believe is encroaching on my property, and he removed some of the cactus.
Now, you could go back to this. Did you want him to remove the cactus or not?
No, that's what's frustrating is we had conversations about where he was going to put the fence, and I very explicitly said, I don't want any of the cactus removed.
All right. Okay. I almost think you need to bite the bullet and get a survey. And maybe you can look at, maybe a survey's already been done in the past too. So, before you actually go and hire like an assessor or like an appraiser, somebody like who's going to come out and assess the boundaries and all of that. see if there are...
Have you seen property spikes on any of the corners of your property there, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
I've not found the property spikes, but there's giant railroad ties, which seem to be the property dividing lines. They land where it would be. It's just I don't have anything on paper saying that that's exactly where it is.
All right. Do you want a fence around your property?
Absolutely, yeah, because he lets his dogs run free, horses, I mean, it's everything, and it's causing just so many problems for me.
Right.
And a lot of my property is being broken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you need to start prioritizing some of this. Identify the boundary lines, and then, get going on putting a fence together. I'd let your neighbor know what you're planning to do, too. And you can provide him some of the statutory language that would indicate that he's, you're going to ask him to pay for half of it, too. And then you can, file a civil action to get that money recovered if, in fact, he's not cooperative. But that's why it's incumbent on you to make sure that you know exactly what type of property you're on.
Sure.
Is this considered grazing land, for example? And if it is, and you can identify your property boundaries, then I believe you're within your rights to then start constructing a fence and then ask him to help contribute. And it's, the laws, that about fences and grazing land. I mean, it says that you got to spend half of the cost for either, both neighbors have to spend half of it.
And maybe if you present that to him in a legal fashion, maybe he'll go, "Oh, all right, well."
Well, I would still present that in a friendly neighbor fashion. Say, hey, to begin with, look, I
just did a survey. Here's what it's going to cost.
I mean, here's where we think the boundary is. If you think it's different, let me show you. Here's the survey I have. But nonetheless, this, let's get some undisputed boundary line here for where the fence should go.
And then he goes on though with other questions, just all these things. So let's say there's no fence. And let's see what the cow damages his car. How do you prove the value of his cacti there? Can he charge this guy for manure removal? I mean, at what point is this guy liable for some of these things?
Well, do you have any proof that you told him not to remove the cactus or the cacti? I mean,
by the way, is it cactus or cacti?
Conversation.
Like a single cactus, but with multiple thingies is a cactus, I guess, and you have more than one root ball. That would be cacti. You know what? I tried to stay, ever since I kicked a cactus ball with my foot as a kid, thinking it would be fun, and then found it stuck to the front of my shoe, painfully embedded in my toes. I've
stayed out of the cactus business.
I want nothing to do with it.
I understand. Man, it's just tough. I mean, it starts with, being friendly with the neighbors and hoping it gets done there, but so that's the first step. You say, get a survey, get it to your neighbors. Say, hey, I took this step. Let's get this done, buddy. Let's go.
Boom. Get on it.
And then
and then go to him and say, look, here's the thing. We both kind of want a fence, right? Because what you don't want is for your animals to damage my property, because that's going to get complicated and expensive for you. Let's get together. Let's get a fence up. We'll split the cost of it all. Because if he puts the fence up, by the way, he can come to you for half of it too. So, I mean, it's one of these things where you guys really do need to try to communicate and cooperate in the middle there on some of that.
It's a typical quid pro quo, Clarice.
You scratch my fence, I scratch your fence. I know you're going Silence of the Lambs, but I'm just going back scratching.
So, I mean, it is interesting because we had initially started off friendly, and he put up half of the T-post. I provided half of the T-post that he said he was going to put up. I believe I have a text message of that. And then he just never ended up doing it. And then it's like he started a fence on the front of his property and then never completed it. So he fights all these projects.
Listen, I don't know. Are you a fence building kind of guy? Can you do it yourself?
Absolutely. I guess the complications became when the fence was kind of being built onto my property up to my garage. And I'm like, well, this isn't what we agreed about. How can I go about this? As well as the person I've been talking with, I don't believe is the actual landowner. So I'm not sure, it's...
Who are you talking to?
You think he's a renter?
I think his son is the landowner, but he is the one... It's really interesting. So that
oh, man.
I guess my clarification would be, I have to take this to the landowner, not anybody else, right?
I'm going to give you a little tool. It will help you try to solve some of that right now.
Okay.
What county? Are you in El Paso County?
I'm in the very edge of El Paso County.
Okay. You can go to the El Paso County Assessor's website, and you can enter your neighbor's address. You can enter your own address. You can enter, anyone's address.
Like for instance, some girl who didn't pay any attention to you sometimes at the store. You can find out
she didn't call me back.
Them and call and stay out and do stuff in their house.
I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying there's a technique. Not for that last part. I'm sorry. That you don't want to do.
So that'll say who owns the property?
It'll say who owns the property. Now, granted, some properties are owned by trusts, and it's like the GLC 2017 Property Trust. Well, great. Now you got to do some more digging to find out really who's responsible for that trust. But, a lot of this property is just going to be owned by a person's name, and then you can start walking back from there to identify how to reach that person if it is, in fact, not the actual person you've been speaking to. And then make sure that you are communicating with the owner of the land, because ultimately that's who is going to be brought into the obligation to help pay for half the fence.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful tool, but you got to be kind of specific with how you want to be broad enough that if you got a typo, you might still be able to find it, and you can find, you can go to your entire general neighborhood, and you can then go by parcel number, for example, or like house number by house number. When you're in a residential area, sometimes you can just put the street in there, and then you can just comb through. And,
really?
Yeah. I can find out where Ross Ford lives.
Hey-oh. I live in a van.
You know what's funny?
Down by the river.
I am to be so irritated if I find out it's not your home that I've been creeping on at night, and it's somebody else's. I mean, of course, I'll know why they don't answer the little tap at the window, but still.
We'll find out. Well, there you go.
It's humiliating.
All right, so step 1, find out who owns the property. Step 2, contact them, get a survey, and say, here's how we go. And then if that doesn't work, that's when you start to dance hard. Is that right? All right. Corey, best of luck, buddy.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
No problem. And keep in touch. Let us know where you're at. And if you need more help, we'll be here next month, okay?
Hey, Corey, do you have animals of your own?
Have what?
I'm asking Corey if he's got animals.
I've got chickens, ducks, and a dog.
Okay. They're not that vicious. I was going to say throw some red meat on his back porch.
Earlier I was thinking about that. It's like, man, Corey should just get a pet bear.
That's right.
Right? A pet grizzly bear and just chain it up in his backyard. I bet that'll keep that donkey and stuff out of the backyard. Right? Or maybe you get some of these wolves they've been reintroducing.
The cactus is getting replanted very quickly.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Thanks for joining us, by the way. Pick up your phone. Are you still having problems with your mattresses or what?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Let me run down what she sent to us, Dave. Got a mattress from a mattress company 6 months ago and then saw that they had sent the wrong mattress. The mattress for her husband, and he has medical issues, needs a firm bed. They sent a super plush instead, and he's been having pain. I know how that may get on the wrong mattress. That's why I hate going other places. It's like, I know at home I'm going to be fine. I got a wicked wrecked back, so it's like I'm throwing the dice if I go somewhere else. So we've been reaching out to the mattress company. They're blowing you off. Please help me, Mr. McDivitt. Thank you. So what do you got? Questions for her?
Yeah, I do. When did you notice it was the wrong mattress?
About 7 months in.
And your husband was having problems already, and you're like, I wonder why? And then you looked?
Yeah, exactly. He's always had a firm bed, and he's never had problems, and he started having problems with this bed, so we kind of investigated, and we noticed that it was the wrong mattress he's been sleeping on.
Okay, so when did you start noticing his back problems?
Is it back problems or what?
So actually, it was the first night he slept on the bed, he was having issues.
Okay.
And we kind of chalked it up to, oh, it's a new mattress, you just got to get used to it.
Break it in.
We tried everything, flipping it, turning it, and nothing helped.
And in doing that,
and like I said, in that process, that's when we realized it was the wrong one.
When did you? So when the mattress came, did you? The reason I'm asking this is because a lot of mattress companies offer, 4-month window. Try it out. If you don't like it for any reason, I bought a number of mattresses. In fact, I bought some very recently, so I feel like I'm intimately familiar with one particular mattress company's 120-day return window. Because they hammered it into me when I buy. Like, remember, you've got 4 months to try it out. Because what I have found is, and maybe this is kind of what you're thinking too, when you first get a mattress versus when you demo it in the store. You demo it in the store, and it's what you want in a mattress. Like the one you choose, you choose it because you're like, this is the one that this feels right. And then you get the same mattress. I mean, it's like in a situation where You get the same mattress that you bought. It comes in and it's usually, no matter what plush level you got, it's kind of usually firmer because it takes a little while for the mattress to kind of break in. And the mattresses you try in the store have been demoed by a lot of people. And now what they say is that's why give it, sleep on it for a while. You have 4 months, check it out. If you don't like it, we'll come back. Just keep the tags on it. Keep the tags on it. So when you were looking at the mattress, you said it was 7 months before you realized it was the wrong one. And now they won't return it. Is that right?
Well, so the issue is we thought there was an issue with the mattress itself because he's never had a problem with the firm. And all of a sudden, he started having problems. So we did the warranty on it. And like I said, that's when we kind of figured out it was the wrong mattress because we looked at the tag. And so at this point, we were so desperate just to get him a bed. They went ahead and agreed to the warranty when they figured out that it was the wrong mattress.
Okay.
That was sent. And now they're just, they said that we could keep the old bed for the mistake, and now they're wanting to get it back. And, we've been paying on this bed forever, and my husband's having really bad issues with his health. It's really affected him.
Sure, Christy. No, I understand. Listen, having gone through, for me, it was back. I mean, I've just kind of been over, I've been through it in the past. So I truly get it. When you say that they are now going to honor the warranty, or they agreed to honor the warranty because they acknowledge they sent the wrong mattress, they want the mattress back. Are they willing to then give you the right mattress now, or is that part of the warranty that they did now give you the right mattress?
Right. The warranty, they sent the right mattress.
Okay.
We had to, meet the delivery guy. It's just been a pain in the butt. And so, we're just they were negligent and they made a huge mistake, and it's really messed up my husband. And, we just don't know if there's anything that we can do as far as getting him some sort of compensation or help for their mistake. And we were willing to just take the old bed, the bed they sent that was wrong, and we're going to wash it or whatever. But now they're trying to get that back. And we just feel like we got cheated.
Okay, so now you have 2 mattresses.
Yeah.
The replacement and the original, which you can't use. Are they offering to come pick it up, or they want you to load it up and drag it down to the store?
No, they're going to come pick it up because it was part of the warranty. But the mattress wasn't a warranty issue. The mattress is perfectly fine.
Right.
No, I understand.
They just sent the wrong one.
Okay, so
they messed up to begin with. So what the timeline for this whole ordeal? You purchased until they got you the new mattress. How long was your husband sleeping on the wrong mattress for?
9 months.
9 months. So 9 months
he actually stopped sleeping. He stopped sleeping on it. He bought a cot, and he had to sleep on that, and that was horrible. So he's sleeping on the couch,
trying to find his
just
place.
Sitting there vacant.
I've done that before. Nights where you float from chair to chair, trying to find some place you could fall asleep.
Yeah.
Oh man. So that's very interesting. So they've solved the problem with the mattress, but 9 months, some damage has been done. Is there anything?
All right. So
negligence-wise?
yes. So yes, but I'm not sure that it's going to be a very strong claim. And I'll go into both. Yes, you can. They had it. You could argue. Here's the thing. Your argument would be, as I'm processing this, because I misunderstood originally kind of what the issue was, but they've made good now on the mattress. After 9 months of your husband having to sleep on the wrong mattress, finding a cot, his condition is worsened. So you've got 9 months where, because of what they did, your argument is because of what they did, he's now in this position. So to prove a civil claim for negligence, for example, you've got to, which is different than a breach of contract. But if you want to talk about negligence, and they're on the hook then for his injuries because of that, you would argue that they had a duty and they breached that duty. And because of their breach, he has injuries. And it's that, the breach caused, the failure on their part caused his injuries. You may have a high hurdle there to show that that they had that particular duty. I mean, beyond, they provided a product. When they were alerted to the fact that they provided the wrong product, it sounds like they then worked to make good on that, got you the right product. And yes, as a result of that, he's got these injuries. I don't know how strong of a claim that you have. I don't know that it's worth what you would have to go through to prove, and you've got to then prove up the value of his damages. Now, you can do that several different ways. You can, any medical care that he's incurred over the last 9 months, plus any future medical care that he would need because of any, back issue caused or exacerbated by this mattress. You're going to have to create a baseline here of showing what it is, what was his injury, what was his pain level like before he got this new mattress, the old new mattress, the firm mattress that should have been plush. Right, and then where is he right now, and how has it altered his life, and then what kind of medical care will he need going forward? So that's how you establish your damages. But you've got to go back to the root issue here, which is establishing negligence and breach of their duty to you, and that's going to be kind of informed to some extent by contract as well, because this may just be an underlying contract claim too, which is you sign this purchase agreement that they will provide the item that you believe that you were buying. You gave them the money. They were going to give you the product. They give you the wrong product. And that right there could be considered a breach, except there are provisions in their contract language to deal with the fact that you had 4 months to try to get to return it with essentially no questions asked. As long as the tags are on there, they don't ask questions, at least in my experience. Or then even beyond that, they recognize their mistake and they're honoring a return anyway. So you may not have a very strong contract claim either. That's why I'm saying it may not be worth your time to pursue this, but there is a way that you could kind of finagle a claim. I'm just not sure that it's going to go anywhere.
Do you have any medical bills that you guys have occurred or acquired for injuries that happened from the mattress?
Well, he has. Yeah, he did go to the doctor to get his, back checked because he wasn't understanding, because he was decent before this. Mm-hmm. And then after it, he kind of was like, man, I'm just really not feeling good. So yeah, I mean, he did go, and then we have chats back and forth for Mattress Firm, trying to figure out, what's going on with the bed. But I mean, really, yeah, he did go to the doctor.
Did you take the tags off right away?
So they delivered it. I was out of town, actually, in Pueblo to another doctor, and they delivered it. And my husband, he's partially disabled, so they had to come in and set it up. And so we never saw the tags until we started flipping the bed and started doing the,
investigation
or the warranty process. Yeah. Yeah.
And
so we left it up to them to, set us up and get us right. And we've never had problems with them ever. And it's just kind of like, disheartening that he had to go through this and he's still suffering from it.
Yeah. There will be a defense to this, and their defense will be, Christy, look, we have this provision in place for mistakes, or for a mattress even that you thought would be the right mattress and it was causing discomfort. That's why we'll take it back. That's why they have those things. So that would be their defense. And that's why I'm saying I don't know how strong the claim is here when it's – look, from what you have explained to me, it feels like they're trying to do everything they can to honor both the language and the spirit of their contract. But granted, they did. That was wrong. They brought you the wrong mattress, and I totally understand why that is frustrating. I'm just trying to talk to you from a legal perspective how strong your claim might be. But I empathize with you. I mean, it's
something she could maybe file herself and see what happens.
Yeah,
for nothing, as opposed to looking for a lawyer where she could wind up losing a lot of money.
Well, how is? Let me just ask you, human interest here. How's he doing now with the new mattress? Are things better?
Yeah, he's starting to slowly, say that he's feeling a little bit better. Yes.
Well, that's good. Listen, I think you're kind of in a tricky position here. I think you're doing the right thing, which is trying to stay focused and getting him the right kind of support that he needs to improve his condition. And it may not be worth the emotional trouble to just go down a path of trying to litigate something against them.
What you're looking for is not going to be a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't know that the damage is going to be very high, too, especially, which is good, he's getting better, too. Mm-hmm. But it's not just the look, here's the thing. It's not just the cost for that one medical visit or the two medical visits. I mean, there are what they call non-economic damages that you can sue for in your claim. It's just what is the value of those compared to the cost to you to pursue a claim. You can do it yourself. there are dollar thresholds for how much you could claim.
Small claims is what, 5,000
it's
or less?
7,500. So it's a little bit more than that. But I mean, if you're claiming is because your medical bill isn't anywhere near that, but you'd be claiming non-economic damages up to that amount, for example. And if it's more than that, then you can go to big court by yourself too. It's complicated, and you're going to get a lot of motions thrown at you. You will have to respond to in front of the judge, or the judge can. It's the judge's right to throw the case out if the judge doesn't think that there's enough legal merit there too. So then you would, if you're not prepared to handle that, just the time that it would take to research the law and get up on that, and you have to hire a lawyer, and there's going to be a cost to that most likely will far exceed the recovery that you would get from this.
I think I can take a line from the movie Girl Next Door. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Is that from that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. I just thought it was from football.
No, I think it's from that movie because she's a troubled girl, and she's going to get you in a lot of trouble if you squeezed it. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. You got your mattress back. I mean, you could file on her own.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
This is from Christina. She has epilepsy and wants to know if she can get disability if it prevents her from keeping a job. That's an interesting scenario. And I've had that before in radio. I've always wondered, it's like, so if I was to lose my voice or whatever, my golden voice, and I couldn't work in radio, I couldn't file disability because I could still do another job. I go back to like building fences like I did in high school and college and stuff. But my job in radio would be over because I couldn't talk.
You may, sure, that's right.
But I couldn't file for disability because I could still get a different job, right? Is that, I'm kind of in a catch-22 there?
We want to make sure we're talking about disability through the Social Security Disability, the Social Security Administration. They provide Social Security disability benefits for people who aren't able to work, and they can then essentially start collecting Social Security at a younger age than they would when they are, like, when they age into drawing down from Social Security.
But is it job specific when it comes to, like, so would they say, well, hey, you're not disabled because you can still do other jobs? And like, I'm sure she has problems getting a job with working around machinery and stuff like that. That would be a dangerous spot to put her in and put an employer at risk, obviously. But then she can find another job, check out or something like that. Well, but it doesn't make us so much money. That's interesting.
So Ross, that's going to depend on kind of the medical, like the level of epilepsy. Frankly, they have basically what they have is a schedule, like a menu of certain medical conditions.
And a slide scale of how bad off you are.
Right. So within epilepsy, for example, there's certain, like if you meet these particular elements within your diagnoses, like if you are suffering from this type of seizure, for example, within epilepsy, and it's kind of a broad term, but there's certain types of seizures within epilepsy. The diagnosis for that, and I don't want to get into all the medical that I'm not qualified to talk about.
Is it like, I'm familiar with military disability. I have a lot of friends in the military and tons of family in the military.
Right.
And they're constantly being judged. Oh, you're 80 now, and oh, your problems are worse now. Now you're at 90, and
right.
The idea is to get to 100% disability so you can get better benefits.
Right, and that's a different.
But is it similar to that?
But it's similar to that, and so then what you have to do is you have to show that you have these. You've got the medical conditions, and then it meets the criteria. And there are other criteria that go involved in determining whether somebody's eligible to qualify for Social Security disability. But the other thing, too, Ross, going back to what you said, so the question for her is it could be. I mean, and that's really going to depend on your medical diagnosis. And there are, attorneys that we work with who, help people not just file the claim, but then if it gets denied, and that's what oftentimes happens. People with very valid compensable disability claims will have their claims denied initially. And some will have them granted, but then they have to go through an appeals process. And that could take a long time, and it depends on how far you're taking your appeal. Like there are different stages of appeals. Like you get a denial at your first appeal level, then you take it to another level for appeal.
These are little speed blocks that every company uses to try to slowly limit the amount of people who are trying to access the benefits. But they do this. This is notorious with the VA. It's like, all right, jumps at this hoop and this hoop and this hoop, and they're in hopes that every hoop we put up, 10% of people won't go through that step. And then by the time we get to the final step, there's only 40% of those who started, and it saves us money. And it's really sad.
So the government has to do it too. And but I want to go back to her question. Yes, you may qualify. And I think it's definitely worth pursuing a disability claim to see where you are with that.
And that is through Social Security is where you apply?
Yeah, through Social Security disability is and then they have different types of the disability framework. And that's why, look, I frankly happy to get her the name of somebody I think who might be able to help her early stage. So maybe off the air we can reach out to her. But Ross, you brought up a very good question too, which is with your radio voice. If you lose your voice, granted, thousands of people across the Colorado are going to be devastated. And they'll have disability claims too because of it. But there are also private disability insurance policies that you can purchase.
Like Aflac and stuff like that, right?
Well, and Aflac tends to be, as I understand Aflac, it's more like a gap policy. So if you've got like a long-term disability policy and then maybe your work offers something that's short-term, so before long-term kicks in,
they cover that.
Now, I think every insurer is different, and there are ways you can structure a policy so that if you say, look, I'm a radio guy. I earn my living from my voice. Yeah, if I lose my voice, yes, I can go out and I can do 1,000 other things that don't require me talking or talking in a way that makes people happy to hear my voice. Uh-huh. Can I get a policy that will then cover me if I lose my voice? And then what you'd have to be able to show is that you demonstrate like a long-term loss of that voice. And then you may be able to collect on a long-term private disability policy. So you've been paying the premiums for that.
Very similar. You hear these stories about models having their legs insured.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Quarterbacks and their arms insured and such.
Like,
really?
Yes, the Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter and the CU football team got a special disability policy in place for the bowl game that they played because they said, like, this is going to impact draft. For example, in future earnings.
How about this? The man with the $1 million voice. It's Ross Ford in the morning.
And his $2,000 sidekick,
right?
David McDivitt, whose voice is not even really that valuable.
Man, so if I had $1 million policy on my voice, I'd be like the old school radio guy. I'd be screaming all the time.
Yeah. Well, you just asked me to punch you.
There you go. It's the old Todd Emily Nix nonstop next.
Ed 98.3.
Wow. So maybe something other people could look into. So, all right. So, Christina, you, first and foremost, apply for disability through the Social Security and then let them decide where you're at in regards to preventing you from keeping a job, and you go from there?
Yeah, but again, I think we can get somebody to actually help her navigate that first step, or at least answer some of those initial questions.
All right. Sadly, we're out of time, man. We didn't get to the mold. We didn't get to the horrible wife. We'll have to hold on for next month, I guess.
My kids sometimes call me from the Stone Age. Sometimes I've heard them say oldie and moldy, and I just don't love it. So I'm glad we didn't get to the mold today.
Thank you for listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM, presented by McDivitt Law Firm.